Last time we talked espresso machines. Today, we're talking about the part that matters even more, the grinder. You can put a $2,000 machine behind a bad grind and still pull a sour, channeling mess. Pair a modest machine with a good grinder and it punches way above its price. A lot of you bought a great machine last time and then put a mediocre grinder in front of it. So today, we're fixing that. I'm not just giving you 5 grinders worth buying. First, I'm giving you 5 grinder traps to avoid. The stuff that looks convenient, smart, or affordable, but doesn't actually put better espresso in your cup. Then the 5 that do. Quick word on how I do these, because it matters. This is research-based. Specs, owner reports, long-term reviews, repairability, independent testing. Not a hands-on review of every grinder on this list. No hype, just a shot. Let's start with the traps. Number 5, the blade grinder. Trap 5 isn't really a grinder at all. It's the cheap blade chopper, the little unit with a spinning blade and a button you hold down. They're sold right next to real grinders, often labeled coffee grinder, but for 20 or 30 bucks. And for espresso, they're useless. Here's why. A blade grinder doesn't grind, it smashes. It chops the beans into random chaos. Some dust, some boulders, all in the same pile. And espresso lives or dies on consistency, because water only flows evenly through evenly sized grounds. Throw dust and boulders at it, and the water races through the gaps, under extracting the boulders and over extracting the fines. Sour, thin, impossible to fix. And there's no setting to fix it with it anyway. You're just guessing how long to hold the button. It's one of the most common reasons a beginner's espresso tastes bad despite a good machine. You're not buying a grinder, you're buying a blender that's been told it's a grinder. Real quick, if you've ever been burned by one of these, hit the like button. It sounds small, but it generally helps the channel reach other beginners before they make the same mistake. Okay, now back to it. Trap number 4. The built-in grinder inside a cheap all-in-one. Trap 4 is a callback to last time. The grinder baked into a budget all-in-one machine. The pitch is convenience. Beans in the top, espresso out the bottom, no second appliance, taking up space. On paper, that sounds great. The problem is where the money went. On many budget bean-to-cup machines, the grinder inside is an afterthought. A small, basic burr set chosen to hit a price, not to pull great espresso. So the single most important part of your setup, the part that decides how the cup actually tastes, is the part they cut corners on, and you usually can't upgrade it without replacing the whole machine. This isn't always a scam. For someone who wants pure convenience, it can be fine. But if you actually care about the cup, you're often better off buying a simpler machine and putting that grinder money into a dedicated grinder you can keep and upgrade for years. So you're really just buying one fewer box on your counter and paying for it in every cup. Trap number 3. The espresso-capable filter grinder. Trap 3 is the sneakiest one, because the grinder itself is often genuinely good, just not at the job it's being sold for. These are the stylish filter grinders that get marketed as do-it-all, espresso-capable machines. The product page says espresso, the reality is far more complicated. A lot of these grinders are built for pour-over and drip, where the grind is coarser and small inconsistencies don't matter much. Push them into the espresso range and the same problems keep showing up. Here's the checklist to watch for. The adjustment steps are too wide to fine-tune a shot. It can't quite reach espresso fine. Retention is high, so the dose you weigh in isn't the dose you get out, and there's no espresso first adjustment. Espresso is an afterthought, not the design goal. Owners who try to pull espresso on these frequently end up frustrated and buy a second grinder anyway. If you mainly brew filter, these can be fantastic. Buy one for that. Just don't buy one for espresso because the box implied it could. The word espresso on a spec sheet doesn't mean it's good at espresso. That's the whole trap. It's a filter grinder wearing an espresso costume. Trap number 2. When the tech is the headline. Trap 2 is the grinder that sells you the gadgetry instead of the grind. Bluetooth, an app, a built-in scale with a progress bar. It feels like the future, and the marketing leans hard on it. Now, a screen or an app isn't automatically bad. The problem is when the tech is the headline feature, and the burrs, the adjustment, the retention, and the repair path all come second, because none of the gadgetry touches the cup. Espresso quality comes from the burrs, their size, and how well they're aligned, and from your ability to make a tiny, repeatable adjustment. A screen doesn't make the burrs better. An app doesn't align them. Every dollar that went into the headline feature is a dollar that didn't go into the part that actually matters. There's a second cost too. The more a grinder leans on electronics as its selling point, the more there is to break, and the fussier the path to fix it. Buy the grinder for the grind. Treat the app as a bonus, not the reason. Bottom line, you're paying for features you'll never taste. And trap number 1, you need a $600 grinder to start. The last trap isn't a grinder. It's the advice that makes beginners overspend. It's the idea, handed to beginners constantly, that to make espresso, you need to jump straight into a premium single-dose grinder in the $600 plus range. Let me be careful here, because the grinders people point to in this conversation are genuinely excellent. A top-tier single-dose grinder is a wonderful thing. Near zero retention, a beautiful build, a workflow that just feels good. If you already know espresso is a lifelong hobby and you've got the budget, go for it. But for a beginner, it's overkill. And it sometimes comes with month-long wait times for a tool you're still learning how to use. Here's the honest truth. A good $150 to $250 grinder, especially a strong hand grinder or a proven entry electric, gets most beginners far enough to figure out what they actually want next. The jump from a solid grinder to a premium one is real, but it's smaller than people think. And it's an upgrade you make later, once you know what you're chasing. You don't need the endgame grinder on day one. You need the one that teaches you what your endgame even is. Alright, now that's the cautious list. Now let's talk about the grinders that actually turn money into a better cup. And if you're finding this useful, go ahead and subscribe. This is part of a little series. We did machines last time, this is grinders, and beans are coming next. And each one builds on the one before it. If you want the whole setup figured out without overspending, that's what this channel's for. You can check the description below for links to all the grinders that I'm going to be talking about next. I do collect a small commission through Amazon at no cost to you. And just remember, don't just buy the priciest one. The right grinder is the one that fits your budget, your machine, and how you actually make coffee. Links are in the description so you can compare current prices. And now, here's where your money stops paying for features and starts paying for the cup. Number 5, a used prosumer or commercial grinder. Number 5 is a strategy more than a single model. Buying a quality used prosumer or commercial grinder instead of a new entry-level one. Big, well-built grinders hold up for years, and the used market is full of them from people chasing the next upgrade. A solid, used grinder with large, quality burrs can deliver grind consistency a brand new budget unit simply can't match for similar money. The frame and motor don't expire, and on many of these machines, burrs and parts are easy to replace. The catch is homework. Check the burr wear, ask how it was maintained, and make sure replacement burrs exist for the model. And one specific warning. Don't grab a giant old cafe grinder just because it's cheap and looks impressive. Some commercial machines hold a lot of grounds and are a pain to single dose at home, so make sure it actually fits a home workflow. Do that, and this is one of the best value plays in all of home espresso. Buy smart here, and you're getting serious hardware for starter grinder money. Number 4, a quality hand grinder. Number 4 is the one that surprises people. A good manual hand grinder. And I know, grinding by hand sounds like a downgrade, and it used to be. It isn't anymore. The modern hand grinders changed the math completely. They've got the burr geometry and the fine click-by-click adjustment that espresso actually needs, and they do it at a fraction of the price of a comparable electric grinder. 2 names worth knowing. The EasyPresso J Ultra, around $200, is the espresso precision pick. It's fine, countable adjustment makes dialing in genuinely easy. And the King Grinder K6, around $100, delivers most of that capability for roughly half the price. The steps are a touch coarser, but it absolutely pulls real espresso. Either one can produce espresso level grind quality that embarrasses a lot of cheaper electrics. The trader's effort. Budget roughly a minute of cranking for an espresso dose. For a lot of people, that's a fair price for the kind of grind quality. It's also compact, quiet, and it travels anywhere. Great for small kitchens and apartments. Honestly, if you want the most espresso quality per dollar and you don't mind a little arm work, this might be the single best value entry point into real espresso right now. This is the most grind quality your money can buy. You just have to turn the handle. Number 3, Baratza Encore ESP. Number 3, the Baratza Encore ESP. If you want the lowest drama electric entry into espresso, this is it. And its real strength isn't flashy specs. It's that it just keeps working. It's been the default first grinder for years, and the ESP version added the finer adjustment espresso needs. But the reason it earns this spot is the support behind it. Parts are widely available, and the company is known for excellent repair help, so this tends to be a grinder that keeps running for a long time and can be fixed instead of tossed. It's also versatile, comfortable doing your morning pour over and your afternoon espresso without a fuss. That repairable, fixable is exactly what this channel keeps coming back to. It's not the sharpest grind quality on this list, but it's the one I'd hand a nervous beginner who wants a safe, supported, do everything choice. And yes, Baratza now also has the ESP Pro with a finer, stepless adjustment. For this list, I'm sticking with the regular ESP because the value story is cleaner for a beginner. Lower price, simple workflow, same repairable platform. It's not the most exciting grinder here, it's just really hard to regret. Number 2, and I might butcher this name, but it's the Eureka Mignon Specialita. Number 2, the Eureka Mignon Specialita is the step up for the person who keeps one bag of beans going and wants a quiet, durable, set it and forget it machine on the counter. It's an Italian-built hopper grinder with a reputation as a bit of a tank. Solid, heavy, made to run for years. 2 things make people love it. It's noticeably quieter than most grinders in its class, which matters more than you think at 6 in the morning. And it has a smooth, fine adjustment that makes dialing in espresso genuinely pleasant. It's the refined, grown-up option, less utilitarian than the budget picks, without leaping into premium grinder money. If you've got one house espresso bean and you want a grinder that disappears into your routine and quietly does its job for a decade, this is the one. You buy it once and then you mostly forget it's there. That's the whole appeal. And then number 1, the Turin DF54. And this is the value champion of this whole list, the Turin DF54. This is the grinder that rewrote the entry-level rules. Until recently, if you wanted flat burrs, the larger burr style usually reserved for pricier machines, you had to spend 2 or 3 times as much. The DF54 brought 54mm flat burrs down to a price where everyone else was still selling small conical burrs. Flat isn't automatically better than conical, it's a flavor preference. But getting 54mm flat burrs at this price is the value story. It single doses, keeps retention very low thanks to a built-in anti-static system, and dials fine enough for espresso and coarse enough for filter. 2 honest trade-offs, because this channel doesn't hide them. It's on the louder side, and it grinds slower than larger burr grinders. So if you want speed and polish, a pricier machine will feel smoother. Like a lot of low retention single dose grinders, it also rewards a quick shoot clean to keep the workflow tidy. If none of that bothers you, this is the most grind per dollar you can buy new today. No app, no touch screen, no lifestyle gimmick. Just big, good burrs at a price that shouldn't be possible. That's what value actually looks like. This is where your money goes almost entirely into the cup. So across all 10, the same pattern from last time holds. With grinders, you're either paying for blades, gimmicks, and features you won't taste, or you're paying for good burrs, low retention, and a setting you can return to. One of those shows up in the cup, the other shows up in the marketing. And remember the big picture. A great grinder paired with a modest machine beats a great machine paired with a bad grinder every single time. If you only upgrade one thing this year, upgrade this. Recommended grinders are linked below if you want to compare current prices. A couple are affiliate links that help support the channel at no cost to you. Don't buy the most expensive one, buy the right one. So now I want to know, what grinder are you running and what machine is it paired with? Drop both in the comments. That combo matters way more than most beginners realize, and I read them. And if this saved you from a bad buy, a like and a subscribe generally help more than you think. They're how the next beginner finds this before they waste their money. If you missed the machine video, it's right here. Beans are next.